Hold on, I wanna have some of it on video so that we can.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There.
Wait, will you do the contrast to the sheetrock? I think it's so interesting to see both. They just look so modern, and they're so okay. So what's the cost comparison?
Well, so the cost comparison is
And there's the sheetrock.
if you just did regular sheetrock, like this.
Yep.
This is obviously more expensive. But if you're doing glass walls, the glass walls that we sell at Falkbuilt are the same as any other glass wall. We're probably more competitive. But when you start adding in the Falkbuilt skins and those walls, and you're just talking sheetrock to the Falkbuilt wall, we're more expensive. But
we'll keep walking. We'll show you more.
When you take into the account, you can take these down.
Yes.
Move them
so you can demount this, Jamie. You can take this whole office down
and change them.
Make it bigger, wider.
Right. So as you know, when you want to make a change on drywall, you knock the wall down and you throw it in the garbage.
I know. Yes. And it's a big mess and dust and all the things.
So here's like a little reception area, right?
Yeah. Oh, I love those chairs too.
Oh, thanks. So those are fun. But look, so here, this is called these skins. It's another term for quote sheetrock. So you pop out that panel, see it?
Yep.
And then you can replace it with something that's either faux marble, faux wood.
Wow.
Right there. You can write on that one in particular.
Oh, yeah,
okay.
You can put any logo on these, whatever you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, really cool.
Super flexible. Yeah.
Right. And I can take a TV set, put it right in the wall.
And insert it. Okay.
Insert it so it doesn't stick out.
Down below, all the wiring goes in behind the panel. So you don't see anything.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable, but it's the same as any other wall line. Wall lines aren't necessarily cheaper than sheetrock, but here you'd have to take all this down.
Yep.
Get rid of it. It's a huge waste. It's, this is sustainable. You own it. You own it. You own all the parts and pieces like you were owning, like an erector set when you were younger. You own all those parts and pieces, and then you can change out, manipulate it, make it bigger, smaller, larger. And it doesn't have to be white and gray, but it just so happens that's what we chose. I chose white and gray, right? So, and everything. There's Risley. So we'll walk back into our conference room, which is super fun.
Is it permitted? Is it permitted or does it need a permit, or is it furniture?
That depends on what you're doing with it. If you're not changing anything to the facility, then you don't have to. It depends on the area. Like we didn't have to do that. We had it's prefab construction. So what happens is that I order this with all the electric, all the data set up. It's all set up. I get it in, and you basically click these pieces right in, and the electric is attached to it. So let me just show you this.
Okay. So you're sort of pre-speccing what you need for.
Right. So like right here we have our data box.
Yep.
And electric.
Yep.
That's all set.
Got it.
You go in, you click in the horizontal piece, and it basically clicks right in.
Wow.
And then this thing goes right on, and it fits perfect.
Okay. So, and you just pull wow.
Yeah. And so, what did I do here? And so when you're putting this thing together, it all goes together. Everything has a barcode. Every single piece has a barcode. So you come into the site and
you know exactly where everything goes.
You lay out the frame, and each office gets the frame laid out. The guys come in, they do 2 cuts to every office. That's the base and the upper. And then everything else goes in. There's no more cutting. You just put it in.
So what's interesting about this product, Falkbuilt, we use technology and construction. So instead of guessing and remeasuring and taking the wood in and taking the wood out and cutting back and forth, I mean, the time saved is endless, right? So you have less trades in here. You don't have painters or sheetrockers or tapers. There's no sanding. There's no, there's really no sound. You know, it's just everything comes in on one flat panel wrapped in plastic, and that's it. There's no boxes. There's no waste. It's crazy. It was crazy, and how clean it is.
Who does the install? Is it a special, like, can it be a local team, or is it somebody specially trained?
Yes. So I used my install guys, my furniture install guys.
Okay.
And they had never seen the wall system before.
Okay.
And, you know, I did that deliberately because we're the guinea pigs and I wanted to see how it was going to go. And they loved it. They absolutely loved it. And these guys had put up other wall systems before, but they had never seen this. And they said it was one of the easiest systems that they've ever been.
It's crazy, Jamie.
I know, but that's why I wanted to see it, because Dorothy, I can tell you, like, just love it.
Oh my gosh, it is so crazy. I mean, the world of construction is changing. First of all, you can't find any labor anyway, right? So, So this helps with the labor issue, right? There's no delays. There's no waiting for ceilings to go in or carpet to go in. There's no waiting for that painter who got pissed off because everything was delayed and won't come back for, 3 weeks.
I just had that today. We are getting some painting done, and the painter called me and he was so mad. Yeah. And I was like, okay, what's going on? How can I help? He's like, the place is a mess. The contractor, this and that, and it's dirty and like on and on. And he's like, and if I can't get in there today, then it's weeks. And I was like, oh my God. Yeah. Exactly.
It's crazy. This is the craziest thing that we've gotten into. It is so fun because, the furniture world is fun, but it's basically lipstick at the end, right? It's like, it's the kitchen counter at the end, it's done, right? The construction end is on the front end. And, we're able to help people in remarkable ways, and it's sustainable and you own it. So what other product does that?
So here's the really cool thing is that an architect can lay out your space based on what you want. And we can take their Revit file, put it in our system, which is Revit based, and spit out the exact same thing that you want. Now that's not normally what happens in construction. So, it's just a new way of doing things. And not only does it give you an incredible end result, they've made it so easy to do for every step that it's foolish not to look at it at least.
Yeah.
Now, is it more money than drywall? Yes. But once you add everything into it, if you're really trying to do a nice space, if you're really trying to attract people into a space, this is the way to go. My space is rented.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. And I love the aesthetic. So for me, versus the drywall, it's like no question. Have you had people come in who prefer the drywall?
No.
Yeah.
I can take you around. There's no drywall offices. Well, actually there's 2 that are full, but that was what we filled those before we even had the walls up.
Right.
So
that might have to be like how you do it for the next location. Fill the drywall first and then
Yeah, exactly.
But what's interesting as far as co-working goes? So I was thinking about this in preparation for this meeting. If you have co-working owners that are in a leased space, this is perfect for them because they then have almost leverage over the property owner because they own these walls. So when they leave, they could take them with them if they choose.
Well, and then the threat to leave is more real because if you've built out, a fairly dense office build out, your threat to, you got to rebuild the entire thing in the next location. And so
cost prohibitive. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's a great point for selling this product to co-working businesses.
And Dan, back to your point about the, the cost comparison. I'm also just hearing you guys, like, you installed it and you moved on.
Yes.
And the time that you spend dealing with things that go wrong, and the painter that's mad, and you lose a lot of time in your business that way. And so that's a huge, you have to assign some value to that too, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And if you already have people in the space, like, you could have moved in your drywall people and then put the walls up, and you're still, you still have revenue from the drywall group. So the drywall was pre-existing, is that right? And then everything else
just a few
added around it. Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's also a great way to take a second gen space that has some pre-existing space that you want to keep, and then just kind of easily build around it.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, all of the trades, I had two different trades. I had my install guys for furniture, and I had basically a jack of all trades that took the electrical. He's an electrician too, but he installed the electric. We ran the electric up to the top into the ceiling, and then he took the wires and hooked it up, and it was done.
That was it. No other trades. Nothing. Like no plumbers, no sheetrockers, no carpenters, it was crazy, Jamie.
Yeah.
But this is the way it's going. This is the way the world is going. It's off-site.
Yeah. No, and the sustainability piece is huge.
Yes.
And I'm sure you have other clients who really prioritize that as well, I would guess.
Oh yeah.
You do. Yes, we do.
Yeah. Bigger companies who, like, the whole ESG is just a priority. And so they're going to start building that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's good. It feels good, I'm sure, to be part of that solution.
It does feel good. And it's not just co-working spaces that are using this. I mean, it's hospitals.
Well, that's what I was thinking about. Some of your other clients, like healthcare and other institutions, who are like, we who do a lot of building, and they need to do it better.
Cleaner,
faster. Yep. Fast, all the things. Yep. And they want their environmental impact to be lower.
You can clean these walls with bleach.
Oh, interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
So so it works really well for a healthcare setting too.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, they love it.
Yep.
But big companies like Chase Manhattan, they've standardized on Falkbuilt system walls, which is crazy, right? I mean, all over the world. And not to name drop, but there's huge companies. There's Nike, there's Coca-Cola, there's Bank of America. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And people are just finally seeing how important this material is, because you're not wasting anything.
Yeah. Yep.
The values are so much more than the negatives,
Okay. So if you wanted to rearrange, you have your install guy come back. Does the electrician have to come back, or like how practical is it to adjust?
Very.
Well, okay. So let's say that you wanted to take it all down and move it somewhere else. You would first redesign the new location, and then you would come back, and all of this is documented.
It's inventoried, so
Right.
we know how many lengths. Right.
All the
like
barcodes,
inventory is and what year. Okay.
Great.
Like, I'm working with a customer right now that is very interested in this product, specifically because he can take it down and move it. It's a really fast growing company, and he's in a smaller space now, and he wants to take it and move it to the next space. So we're kind of deciding on heights and sizes of walls, so that when he does that, it's and offices. So when he does it, it just boom, move those 20 over, and then keep moving. And you would use the same guys. You'd need an electrician, and you'd need an install company for furniture, or you can use you
can use finished carpenters. Sometimes they're really good.
Absolutely.
But that's it. You don't need any other trade.
Yeah, that's wild. So you would just build, when you're moving, you just kind of add to the system that's already there, and you can lay it out because you have the barcodes, and so you know what you're missing.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right. So it's all there, and the factory would take all that information and say, okay, this is the new space. This is what you need to make that space.
To add to your old inventory.
Right.
Yeah. To your point, like the technology, Dorothy, you said it earlier. It's super smart. It's really,
and it's running the show. The technology is totally running the game. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Let's back up and talk about, give us the intro. partners in Saratoga Coworks and DRB Business Interiors. Tell us about you and your businesses.
Well, we got into co-working just by chance. You know, we bought a building in downtown Saratoga Springs, New York, and we had been in the furniture world for years before that. Bought this building, and it was an original Skidmore College, a small liberal arts college building in downtown Saratoga. It had lots of little nooks and crannies, and people had heard that we bought the building. And a lot of entrepreneurs had reached out to Dan and I and said, hey, is there a little office we could rent? And at the time, we were in the furniture world, and and we were a new landlord, right? So Dan and I didn't really agree on it.
All of it was very new to us.
It was all very new.
And I didn't want anything to do with it, I have to tell you.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I was like, you know what? That's
no. The answer was no.
They want a 5-year lease and take the whole downstairs or whatever. I don't care, but I don't want to talk about anything else.
So we had a little bit of we were at an impasse that weekend. So we tell everyone over a bottle of wine or two, we decided we would discuss it over the weekend. And, you know, as small business owners and entrepreneurs, we weighed the pros and the cons, the features and benefits. But what really came down to it, Jamie, was the fact that we had been there. We knew how difficult it was to start a business. Yeah. We knew that you had to put your first month's rent down, your last month's rent down. We had to do triple net. We had to have a personal guarantee, which we did. We leveraged our house. And then you got to work on your business, right? So instead of working on your business from the get-go, right? So we said, you know what? Let's just give it a year. So Dan and I agreed.
Dorothy won for the short term.
She won, but for 6 months. For 6 months, she was losing because we didn't have anybody. You know, we're a city. This is a 26,000 people city. It's not that big.
No, it's small.
Right. In the summer, it gets to about 100,000. But
but we just knew how hard it was for small businesses, and that's what makes this country great. All these small businesses, right? That have a backbone and have chutzpah to start businesses, right? So we wanted to be kind of part of that. So now we did that in 2014, and now it's almost 2023. So it's, trust me, nobody knew what co-working was.
Right, especially not in Saratoga, right?
No, and you know the story. The bankers didn't even know it. They were like, we don't get it. Why are you doing this, right? So now there's quite a few other co-working spaces and then up in this area, but you know, we'd like to say that we started the game.
But what was interesting was when the bankers got involved, because we wanted to do another location, and they were very, because they knew that our first business was doing well, but they didn't understand what it was at all. They were very, very curious, and so we took them out of their little box there, or their bank, and we took them on a tour, and we showed them what we did.
All 7 of them. They walked across the street.
Their black suits and ties, you know, they come walking in, and they're looking in the building, and they go, you mean somebody just rents that small office? I said, yeah, that guy's a marketing company. He has 45 employees across the United States, and he runs it all out of that space right there. And they're like, now I get it. And it was boom. So
lights went off, and it was great. And we got the loan. So
yes,
we
did.
So that was our second location. And then this is our third. So it's exciting. It really is.
I feel like this third space went so fast because when I was visiting you this summer, I think we drove by it, and I mean,
drove by it.
Yeah.
Drove by it.
Yeah.
Yes. So we did all that. So we closed on the property, I think in April or May, and it needed some cleaning. Trust me, this was a funky building. Everything was red and white checked. Not at all my taste.
Not the beautiful, like low-key tone that we see in the background now.
But this is it. I mean, it's crazy how fast it went up. And you can do kitchens with this. You can do bank lobbies. You can do sports stadiums and arenas and hotels. And you can do every single thing right now except residential interior walls right now. And that's because of the fire rating. But that's going to happen. That's going to happen.
But Mogan's the owner of the company, Mogan Smed. He brings up a story. I just think this happened a year ago. It was Chase Manhattan Bank.
Yep.
Right? Chase Manhattan Bank needed to do the interiors. It was in Washington, D.C. They needed to do the lobby of this building because they had Condi Rice coming in. They had all these people coming in, and they couldn't get their marble.
The marble was on a container ship.
Yeah.
So he had 4 weeks to do this. The owner called and said, I don't know if we can do this, but what do you think we can do? Because I understand you have a faux marble look.
And it looks awesome, by the way.
Sure enough, got it in.
Got it all done.
Put it up.
It was
Done.
4 weeks.
4 weeks.
You got it installed in 4 weeks. And I'm not talking about 12 foot high. We're talking 50 feet high, this lobby.
And that was last October. And guess what? The marble just arrived.
Oh my God.
A year late.
Stopped the marble. Yeah. That's so funny. But also, so that's a good point. I mean, that's a great story. But also for businesses that need to start generating revenue, like your space. I mean, that's just the other kind of cost benefit I'm thinking about is like you put it up and then you started generating revenue versus waiting for construction, because you could easily still be doing construction. We kind of talked about that earlier, but it's just, just reminded me again.
It's so true. If you compare like business people do, this will be more, but in the end, it'll be less because you're going to be getting rents.
Right. You have cash flow quickly. Yep.
Right. I mean, Jamie, we rented the space before we even started construction. We had people in the space while we did construction. That's how easy it was.
Because that's the other thing is, that it's only going to take X number of weeks versus like, well, we're starting construction. Maybe it'll be on time, but probably not. And we don't know how far off it'll be. So no,
it's relatively quiet. Like putting this up is relatively quiet. It really is.
It's fast. It can be noisy.
It can be,
but right. It's fast. The noisy part goes by quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. So Saratoga is 20,000 people, not in the summer. And now, wait, do you still have all 3 locations? I'm trying to remember. Is the first location? They're all still going. So talk about like, what is it that is driving that? Like first 6 months, Dan thought he was winning, and now Dorothy's clearly won.
Yes.
Many years later, third location. Right. And this one is 10,000 feet. Is that right?
This area up here is 5,000. Then we have another 2,500 downstairs.
Okay.
We're going to be fitting out,
right? And then we have a deli down below as well.
I love the deli. Who doesn't want a deli downstairs?
It's great.
Phenomenal.
It's really good. Yeah. So what was the question?
So we have
Saratoga supporting. Yeah. I mean, I'm just curious about the community is now, supporting 3 locations. What obviously, what's changed or what's evolved?
I think the main thing that we do that's different than a lot of spaces in this area, at least, is we spend a lot of time making the space fantastic, as opposed to, just throw it up and, think of it as more of a commodity. It's not. It's, people have a choice. They can work from home or they can go to a Coworks. And if they find a really nice Coworks where they can get a lot done, that's where they're going to go.
See, I'm sorry to interrupt. We come from the other side of this too. We have a commercial furniture and design business. So we know how to make spaces awesome. We know how to make people productive in their space, right? That floor to ceiling, that's important for a lot of businesses. They want to have quiet. They don't want to hear someone else's conversation. So, trends have changed. You have to keep up with that. This space here is perfect for those that want quiet, right? You can hear a little muffling in the background, but you hear that between walls at home and even in downtown offices in New York City,
And especially through drywall.
And through drywall, yeah.
Our
especially through drywall, yeah.
Our STC rating is a 42, and that's with no added acoustics. If we add more acoustics to it, we can get up to 55.
Wait, translate. What's good?
Well,
regular sheetrock
is about 37, 38.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're 42. And even the glass is 42 because we use an acrylic on the glass that's sound deadening. So it's a really nice feature to our co-working space.
Yeah.
Now people have more privacy than they would in any other space.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of visual, can you frost the front?
Yes.
Okay.
We're going to opaque, like you saw the other space in Sarasota. We're going to opaque it so you see, so basically you don't see any of the desking. Not that you can read off a desk from the hallway, but it just helps. It's just another added layer of comfort. And that would be my only other vendor that I would have in here. I can't do that. That's a special talent that comes in and does the opaquing.
But easy. I mean, that's simple and no sound, no mess, no
sign company.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that's to answer your question. I think that's what has made us pretty premier in the market, is because we have spectacular space. We design it well, we keep it super clean. And, we treat our members like guests, they are guests.
Yep.
And you have great locations, like physical, in terms of maybe where they're located. I don't know. I would love to be in your downtown, the little, like, right on the main street.
On Broadway. Yeah.
Yeah.
Above the patisserie. Yes. Everyone loves that space.
Oh, that's right. I got wait, did I get a chocolate?
Yes, you did.
Yes. After we went on a nice long walk, I got my chocolate croissant and coffee for the road.
London. Yes, exactly.
Yes.
So we're looking for another location, but to be honest, our model is not the second floor of down an office complex.
Yeah.
That's not our model. We like to repurpose buildings. We really do. Don't give me something brand new. I mean, never say never, but our model is repurposing and taking that ugly duck and making it a beautiful swan.
Yeah. Well, it's your superpower. So it's fun to do. Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
So this is the second building you own. The Broadway is a lease. Is that right?
That's true.
That's right.
Yeah.
He won't sell it. We tried.
Yeah, we tried multiple times. Nope. But he wants us to do another, the landlord wants us to do another space for him in another area.
In another town.
And
not this town.
And we're considering it, but it's really not our model. So we're probably not going to do it. But
you never know.
He may come down.
Yeah, it's the price. It's the rent that he wants from us.
Oh, he might come down. Let's give him a little time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if the numbers don't work, it's a simple math equation. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
There's no way to make it work.
I'm curious about the bankers, because I actually had I get questions about this all the time. It sounds like you guys have had relationships with your bankers and they got it. Do you have any trouble? And is it a local? I'm assuming it's a local bank. Like you bought the building, they know you're going to do co-working in at least part of it. Is that an issue for them, or?
Well, we had the deli, downstairs.
Yep.
So that kind of like helped a lot.
Oh, to get the building.
To get the building, right.
Yep.
And then as far as putting the co-working space in, they were pretty.
They're good this time, but our bank is a local bank. You get a loan with them, it's like getting into Harvard. It's like, wow, you got a loan from them, because they're so strict on so many things. But
we had to give him our second child, but that was
right. But bygones.
He was acting up anyway.
That's right. But no, it is a local bank. They are very
conservative.
Very conservative.
So they're conservative. Okay.
It might be easier, or maybe not easier, with maybe bigger banks. I don't know.
I think probably not. I just was, curious, because I think the bigger banks really probably, most success I hear are local banks, but usually maybe not so conservative, like local banks that have some sort of mission, to support the community and to lend. So
let me tell you what I said to the 7 bankers in our co-working space on Broadway. If you can visualize it, they were all standing around that big long table that I have there. And the guy said to Dan, why would you do this? This just seems like a lot of work. And I said, okay, I'm going to answer. We want everyone in our co-working spaces to become so successful that they go to you for a loan for something.
Exactly. Well, that's what I thought when Dan was pointing out the marketing guy. I thought, oh, they want his business, right? If he's going to grow, so like, right. Don't they want, they want
and that's
that
when
happening.
That's when it clicked. He's like, okay,
yeah,
I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
So, okay. So can you talk about, you guys are sort of multi-passionate entrepreneurs, interior business, co-working, operating business, and real estate owners. Yeah. Can you talk about sort of, I love a lot of things about your stories. I think sometimes people think sort of narrowly about starting an operating business and signing a lease, and that's, what they're going to do. And I love you guys have another business. You're building wealth through owning the building, and you've got this second operating business. I don't know, share, your perspective on maybe why, and is it, manageable? You do it together, which is also, interesting and unique.
Wow, there are a lot of questions. Okay.
I know, sorry.
So the one thing that I go back to is my father would always say, and my parents were big entrepreneurs, right? My father would always say, the businesses that you don't think are really making it are really making it, like the porta potties, right? So don't think of all the glamorous businesses, right? There were certain things we didn't want to get into. Food, like we don't know food, we don't understand it, and
we like to eat it.
And we like to eat, right? So there are a few things that we really don't want to get into, but what we've gotten into is things that we're passionate about and things that we have found a need for. So this Falk-built wall system came organically. We needed to find a solution to the problem that we were having.
Right. So we were building this, we were buying this building, and we were actively looking for just a wall system, a glass wall system. That's all we were looking for. And we came across, by asking different manufacturers of different products about this kind of thing, they said, oh, you should talk to Falk-built. And so we did.
And that's how we got into the Falk-built wall system, which is also perfect for our design and construction commercial furniture business. That all works well together. I think we are doing okay. I mean, tomorrow we could lose everything. You got to understand that. And that's kind of, we're just you just deal with it, right? You got to learn to live with it. That's an entrepreneur, right? But I think if you stay within kind of the wheelhouse of things that go together, you're probably better off than if you decided to do like a one-off, like buy a marina or something. Like that's not going to work for us because we'd always be on the lake and not here.
I would be on the lake all the time. No, but Falk-built is, we were an example. We were looking for one thing, and we got something unbelievable.
Yeah.
And now we're a Falk-built branch. We're the Northern New York Falk-built branch for Falk-built, and that's
all of New York State. But we can sell anywhere, so we could sell to anybody anywhere as long as we had a relationship with that client or that co-working space or whatever. But we do believe in this. I mean, we went all the way out to Calgary, and I personally actually put a wall up, believe it or not.
You only swore once.
I used one cuss word.
That was it. I was very impressed.
Because they snap together. It's super cool. It's like Legos, but metal.
Yeah.
And these skins. It's really cool.
Wait, so that's
how we got into all of our businesses. That's how we did it. It's just organically. And, we've been together, as you know, 100 years.
Right.
So
that's how you do the math different if you work together as well.
Right.
And live together.
It's like dog years. Yeah. Working together.
Oh, that would be more.
Yeah. The multipliers higher. Totally. So the space will also serve as a showroom. Is that right for your clients? Yeah.
Oh yeah, we've had multiple contractors come in. Everybody that signs a lease with us says that they understand we can come in and show the space. But yeah, I mean, we have contractors coming in, they're like looking at these walls and they're shocked. They're like, wow, you're doing all this and it's prefab? Because everybody's having the same problem in the construction business.
Yeah, getting
They
materials.
can't get anybody to work.
Yeah.
They can't find any labor, and then everything shuts down. When we sell massive jobs, I can bring labor in from Canada, from the corporate office, and
it could be American labor too.
It can be American labor too. Oh yeah, but we have big sections of headquarters through around the country here in the United States, and we can bring these people in and put everything up super fast.
Yeah. 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 Like the painter who was mad this morning. He's like, I just sent my 4 guys home and now they don't have work today. And, you know, there's a lot of, it's challenging for the whole system when it's not predictable.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Exactly. But again, it's technology and construction together. You know, the prefab world has changed dramatically from those Sears home kits back in the 50s. I mean, it's so different. This is engineered offsite construction. So if you don't want to call it prefab because you don't like the term, it's engineered offsite construction that is just brought in and put up.
Yep.
So it's not rated for residential, but you think it will be?
Oh yeah. Totally. Absolutely. It's a matter of time because of the fire rating for residential use.
Yeah. So you showed me the kitchen. Is that so? It's like panels that you put. So then, like you put handles on things and Okay. I'm trying to picture like what the components are.
Yeah. When that comes in, everything comes in a crate. And all flattened out.
Flat box,
right?
Flat. It's like IKEA, but better.
Yeah, you can put it together.
Right. Yeah, and how many times does Dorothy swear when she has to put together something IKEA?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I can't find the English. Right?
Yeah, but I mean that comes in, and it was so. Once again, I had my installers, my furniture guys install, and I keep using that as an example because those guys are used to putting together furniture.
Picking up chairs and putting them down.
Right. You give them a kitchen to do, it's not their
wheelhouse.
You wouldn't want to give them a kitchen from Lowe's or a kitchen from IKEA, God forbid. And so this comes in, and the guy that installed it said, "Oh, this is great," because it came in with a base that had levelers on it, and you put that down, and then you put the boxes on, and then you put the doors on, and it was all done. Had to cut a hole for the water. That was it.
It's millwork. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild.
Beautiful. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it matches everything, by design. I mean, it was so easy. And then I purchased a solid surface countertop from a local manufacturer, distributor here in town.
Yeah. So also, Falk Built does pods. So we do ceilings. So we're actually going to put 2 Falk Built pods right out here attached to one another.
Like big phone booths.
Right.
Yeah.
They're going to be 8 feet by 5 foot.
Oh, nice.
And they're going to have their own ceiling with HIPAA filters, the works.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're just waiting for them. Yeah. And they're going to be right here. So I'll have 2 more sources of income, which is great.
So, since you're in the interiors world, what are you seeing in terms of like your office clients? What are they thinking? What are they doing? Since you're like boots on the ground.
Yes.
Well, now that they're coming back to the office, right? Our clients are reaching out because a lot of them want to refresh their offices because they want their employees
to want to be there. Yeah.
Right. They want their employees to be there. Yeah. Right. So we're finding that, there's no more hoteling where everyone sits at one table next to each other. People want their own space. They want their own office, whether or not it's a day here or a day there, or maybe 3 days or 5 days a month or whatever. They still want to be able to go to a dedicated desk, be able to put their stuff, lock it up, and still be able to, go home every once in a while for meetings or appointments for doctor's appointments or kids. Yeah. So it's flexibility, but individual space is still wanted.
Right. And a lot of companies are making the mistake of like doing this hoteling kind of experiment where they're taking less space. They're coming in, they're saying, okay, we're going to do 250 workstations as opposed to the 1,000 that we actually need.
Yep.
And people are going to sign these things out and as we go, and that's how this is all going to work. And nobody has their own personal space. So and we'll see how it works. But I look at it and I go, you know, one of the nice things about our co-working spaces is that people have their own space.
Dedicated.
It's theirs, and they love it.
Yeah.
And when somebody doesn't have that, you know, there's less of a point of coming into the office.
Yep.
And if that's the objective, to drive people back to the office because they're more, the collaboration and the efficiency and effectiveness of the employee increases, they're doing it the wrong way, which means they're going to do it once and then they're going to have to redo it.
They're going to call you again.
Right.
Yeah, that's tricky because you want to tell them, I'm sure, what, you know, in your experience works, but also
I do.
We tell them.
I tell them point blank. I say, guys, don't spend a lot of money on this space right now.
Okay.
Right.
Because you don't know. And we always say that, you know, even when we're doing, even before COVID hit, we'd always say, okay, you've got the base of this done, but you haven't been in this space yet. You have to figure out what else to do after you spend a little time here. And then they start ordering other things when they realize, okay, this is going to be more of a collaborative area than something else.
Yep.
And that's really what I'm telling them to do. You know, you get your sit to stand tables, get your, you know, your low walls, your chairs, your task chairs, but realize this layout is going to move around.
It's going to evolve, and you want flexibility.
Right.
You really do. And you really want these people to come back to the office because you want to keep and maintain that culture. You know, having people at home make appointments with other team members to have a conversation is such a time waster. It's such a time waster. I mean, you and I are doing this right now because you're on the other side of the country.
I know, right?
But the fact of the matter is, you know, when people aren't together, business slows way down. So here in our co-working spaces, and what we tell our clients that are going to do a refresh is, you want to design so people want to be here. They want to be in this new space and they want to choose to come, right? And so that's our challenge. Let's make this so friendly and so nice to be in that people want to be in the office and they want to work. Then their efficiency goes way up.
Well said.
I know. I feel like your 250 seater is like making a big bet on, you know, hot desks, like, which we know from our business is hard to sell. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly, Jamie. Perfect example.
It's really hard because you always have the loud talker, always. I mean, and there's nothing you can do about it, right? But give him his own office with a walled ceiling and a door, right? And then opaque it, because if he's a loud talker, he's typically like a whirling dervish, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, exactly. What else? What else should we talk about?
Back to the entrepreneur question. I just think that, you know, Dan and I have evolved. We've never been just entrepreneurs. I mean, you know that he came from a corporate world and we moved all over the country, and, you know, we like working for ourselves. Is it difficult? Totally. And not all of our co-working members are entrepreneurs. A lot of them work for very large companies. But they choose to be here because they want to work. You know, I mean, there's a lot of people that aren't working anymore or choosing not to work or changing their lifestyle. But create space that people want to be in and find businesses that match your wheelhouse. You know, Dan and I work all the time. It's not for everyone, but we enjoy it.
We get a lot of people that burn and turn. They come in, they work for 12 hours, 16 hours. I don't see them for 3 days.
Right.
And then they come back.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's what they do.
But they come back to their office. They know exactly. All the papers are still there, you know. So I guess it really depends on the future of the co-working space in a certain city. I mean, I couldn't tell you what the market's like in XYZ city in the middle of the country. I mean, you really have to know where you live and who the people are. We've always been involved. So we didn't just like drive down the street and say, okay, this looks cute, let's just open a co-working space. I think you really need to do your research, find out what makes that town tick and why it's successful.
Yeah, and Jamie, you've said that a lot in your podcast. Know your space, know your business, or know your city, know your surroundings.
And the people. I mean, to Dorothy's point, like on that first space, you had that intuition. Like you could picture the people who were going to sign up. It took a few months, but they came.
It did. I should have made a limit on that. I would have won.
We're very competitive, as you know. Yeah.
You two are so funny. It's unique. Yeah, when couples can work together.
Well, just for the record, I'm still.
You're on the points. Wins on the points. I had a question I was just going to ask, and now I've. So you work a lot. How do you keep some balance? What do you do for fun?
So during COVID. We were the only ones working because the truckers were coming in with all this furniture and stuff, and no one was allowed to work. No one was allowed to leave the house, but somebody had to unload the truck. So I'm down there unloading stuff, and guys are coming in. They have no masks on. I'm like, guys, your company doesn't give you a mask? And they're like, no, there's no masks out there. Anyway, we're doing all that. We're trying to keep the business alive. And, things did slow down.
And that really gave us time to pause, and you can't really figure it out, but, you just you reflected, I mean, you have to work. The economy has to keep going, right? I mean, is furniture the way that it's going to be like it was 20 years ago, the furniture industry? No, because people are working differently. I mean, just think of another analogy or similar. Nobody's wearing dark blue suits with a red tie and a white shirt anymore every day to the office, right? It's just things change.
Yeah, that's true. I never wore jeans to the office before COVID.
No, we always.
Interesting.
Oh no, he always had a suit.
I was a suit guy.
Wow.
Yeah, always. So it's pivoting. I think that's really what we do.
Yeah, but the question was, how do we?
We work out a lot.
Yeah, we work out every day, hard, and then on the weekends we
go to a camp. Yeah, we have a small camp, and we just kind of hang out there, and then start again. We're pretty simple. Our kids keep us grounded, and we realize every day is a blessing. So, and we're very thankful for that.
So what are you most excited about right now?
My new hip.
Oh, that's right. When is the new hip happening?
Not that I'm counting, but 2 months from yesterday.
Oh, good. Soon. Yeah.
That's all right. Other than that, we're, honestly, to be very frank, I'd like to find another building, but now that the cat's out of the bag, right?
Yeah. That's definitely on the horizon.
It's just location. That's my opinion. It's got to be the right location.
Right. Yep.
We're very excited about Coworks and where that's headed, and the different avenues that are out there now that were never there before.
Yeah.
We're talking to people that are, trying to grow a 100-person business, and it's 10 people, and that's fun to be with that kind of a group.
Yeah.
And, then we're talking with people that are $1 billion company that, want to put 50 people in our co-working space. And it's just there's a list of different people out there that weren't there before.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really cool. And then we're really, really excited about the Falk-Built wall prefab construction, because we see huge opportunity. So.
I'm just picturing you guys over your glasses of wine on the weekend talking about what should we do something about these 50-person, requirements, and Then you're talking about wall systems.
Yeah.
But I must say,
it all flows.
Yeah, it does. The one thing that really got us this rented so quickly is because it was like cash and carry. It was like they walked in and they were like, because tell us a story quickly about how.
Oh yeah. Well, so like I sold this guy.
This is a great story.
I sold this guy furniture over a year ago. And he wanted it right away. It was actually used furniture. It was nice. It was only 6-year-old desks and stuff, but he really wanted it quickly. So I went in, I took care of him, got it all set up for him, and he was ecstatic. Didn't hear another word from him for a year.
He was in another location, right? He was in a leased location.
Right. He calls me up. He goes, Dan, I need another 30 offices.
30.
And I go, all right, where? And he tells me, I'll meet you over there. So we go over there. I got my designer with me, and we're measuring the space up, and I'm telling him how I'm going to put the Falk-built walls here, and I'm going to do that over here. And
so he needed walls and furniture, right?
Right.
He got into a little bit of a disagreement with that particular landlord, and Dan just made a comment. Dan just made a comment to him, and he goes, well, why don't you just come to my co-working space?
Well, it was in front of us. Okay, the argument was in front of us. And my designer and I are just sitting there going,
oh no,
don't say anything. Just don't say anything.
We're not here.
Right?
Not here.
Yeah. Right. And so we walk outside, and I say to him, do they always treat you that way? And he goes, oh, that's the good guy. The other guy's even worse. And I don't know how I'm going to deal with this through this whole, I got to run a company and I got to do all this stuff. And I said,
so Dan brought him over here.
Why don't you come see my space? And he rented it. Done.
So he didn't have to pay for walls, and he didn't have to pay for furniture, and he could move in ready. It was like moving into a finished apartment. You're like, where do I sign?
Mm-hmm. Right. Exactly. Right. Pain free. Gone.
Pain free.
Yeah.
What did he do? He didn't take 30 offices.
He took 20.
Here.
Oh my gosh, that's wild.
Yeah.
And he gets to do that with you two, who would never get into an argument with him.
I told him,
he's a nice guy.
Jamie, this is what I said.
They were treating him so poorly.
I said, Jamie, the way I look at you is, well, like you're my customer, and I want to please. Like you walk into a high-end hotel, I'm that guy that greets you and says, how can I help you? How can I make your stay wonderful? That's what we do at Saratoga Coworks. And that's not how anybody else treats you if you're in the commercial
leasing world.
Yeah. And they just don't.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They take your lease for 5 years and your personal guarantee, and then they hightail it to Boca.
Right. Exactly.
So that's what we do. We really treat people here at Saratoga Coworks like they are our guests.
Yeah. Yep. You should start a school for the landlords in town.
Oh
no.
Charm school.
I'm not going to tell them anything.
Yeah. Oh, I don't think you can undo that type of approach, which is why things are changing so much, and which is why Dorothy's ready for the next building. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know what's going to happen with those huge office complexes that are losing their tenants
in New York City.
Oh, yeah, but even in the suburban areas, I don't know what's going to happen. I think what we've learned recently is that some of them are going through the redesign of making them apartments, which I think that's a great idea.
If it works. Yep.
If it works.
Yeah.
Big if.
Yep.
Because of the fire rating. So this was fun.
I know. Thank you for taking the time to do this and for giving us the tour, and because we post this to YouTube, so we'll get to see the tour of the wall system.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. And for sharing your story. I love, I think the two of you are just fantastic and super smart and interesting and fun to talk to. And I just love you've got a lot going on as entrepreneurs and business owners that I think is really interesting. And yeah, I wish you both the best. And I'm glad you took the time to share your story.
Well, thank you. And we feel the same way about you. We really do. And we'll go on another long hike once I get my new hip.
Totally. We'll celebrate. Keep me posted. 100%.
Sounds good. Thank you again.
Thanks.